Hello, I'm Joe McDonald, and this is Big Mac's Battle Blog. So, just wanted to share some thoughts I've been having about the dreaded North Koreans, you know. So, apparently, there's a couple of thousand Special Forces who are North Korean Special Forces who are, now in Russia and maybe in Ukraine, and there's like 10,000 more regular type soldiers to follow. That seems to be, after watching quite a few other channels and listening to, doing a little bit of other people's media research before this, seems to be all we know, or all they're saying. The one thing that they are saying is that they're going to be used in the Russian Kursk counter-offensive to our incursion into Kursk. But that may be a red herring. Now, how worried am I about this? Well, frankly, not particularly. One of the things, let's talk about the Special Forces first. One of the things that makes Special Forces is their ability to communicate and orchestrate operations with every other branch of the military, to be able to coordinate mortar fire, artillery fire, airstrikes, know how to call in artillery from a ship, all that kind of stuff, to like work with all different sorts of weapon systems, to coordinate with the other units in the area, coordinate and communicate. Okay, now I very much doubt that many of the North Korean Special Forces that have sent over are capable of doing that. I very much doubt that. I need, what with North Korea being incredibly insular, and maybe some of the guys they've sent over can speak Russian. I imagine they're more at a high command level than an operational level. I think the reason they've sent 2,000 or so Special Forces over is to basically act as blocking troops, police, security for the other 10,000 guys they're going to send over. Now, 10,000 soldiers for Russia is obviously, it's bad news for us, but it isn't the worst news. I predict that unless they send them with, as fully equipped, mechanized brigades with their own armored cars and mortars and tanks and artillery, unless they send them with all that shite, all you're getting is 10,000 fucking bare basic infantry, maybe with mortar support at best, who've got even less ability to communicate and operate with the rest of the military than the Wagner prisoner concepts have. Casualties are high on both sides here. They're a lot higher on the Russian side. They pretty much always have been. So 10,000 sounds a lot, but at a sort of average of 1,200 a day Russians that we injure or kill, that's like 5 days, 4 days, and that's it. They're gone. So let's all not get our knickers in a twist. Now, if the Russians are deeming to teach the North Koreans about a bunch of useful stuff, like how to run FPV teams and use drones correctly, now that might cause some problems for South Korea and other nations in the future. Okay? But that's the future. And you can't just train people in FPV unless you can fucking communicate, right? Unless you can communicate. And they got the North, I bet a very, very, very small percentage of the North Koreans can speak Russian. And an even smaller percentage of the Russians can speak North Korean, okay? And I bet you that the North Korea has developed somewhat of a dialect over the last however long it's been, 70, 80 years of isolation. Hello, One Sock. It's come to interrupt my speculations. You know, we went for a piss a minute ago. Give it a rest, lad. So, yeah. You know, completely derailed me now, he has. So, do we need to panic? Right? Don't think so, really. Like, if it was 20,000, 30,000, 50,000 with, as I said, tanks, artillery, armoured cars, their own logistics, then yeah, that'd be a fucking problem. They could just take over a whole section of front and be able to free the Russians massively. I think all Russia's got itself here is a couple days more meat for the grinder. Maybe they'll send another 10,000 Burr Basics infantry once the first 10,000 are dead. And like I predict, the Special Forces guys will essentially be acting as command, management, security, policing, a blocking unit to stop these guys from running away, surrendering, misbehaving, etc. I also think that while the North Koreans are probably going to be very, very disciplined, and, you know, they will follow orders and they probably will work hard and stuff like that. You know, they'll dig trenches, they'll cross a fucking minefield because they're told to. That isn't necessarily a good thing from the point of view of achieving a victory. Like, if you've got a commander who's like, right, advance, and it's like you just go into First World War mode and start like walking in a straight line across the minefield towards the enemy with fucking machine guns rattling off at you, then, you know, well done, you're super disciplined and brave or obedient or a fucking cattle, I don't know. But like, if one of my officers told me to do something like that, I might just shoot the cunt and then try and, you know, explain to the lads that, yeah, in fact, you know, if we see that bit of ground there where there's been lots of shell holes, that's probably cleared the mines away and it also provides a bit of cover. So let's try and advance across that instead of just doing what dickhead just said and all getting killed fucking pointlessly, you know? Like, discipline's great to a point, but mindless obedience is not particularly fucking useful if you actually want to achieve victory, you know? So, just some thoughts, you know? I mean, it would be great if, you know, the rest of the world could see this as a cue to come and help us, to at least free up the Belarusian, Transnistria, Moldovan border from Ukrainian forces, maybe free up checkpoint duty or whatnot. You know, one of the Slavic language speaking countries could achieve that inside Western and Central Ukraine, you know. It'd be great, but because everyone's joined NATO, the committee of we'll do something one day but not until everyone agrees, then not going to happen, is it? NATO, the biggest stone around the fucking defence of the world's necks, especially once you're letting countries like Hungary and stuff like that patently can't be trusted. Anyway, just some thoughts from me. So it's goodbye from me, Joe McDonald at Big Mac's Battle Blog, and goodbye from One Sock, who clearly wants to get out and have me throw the stick for him. And as always, to our pro-Russian and Vatnik listeners, Idina Hoyzalupa.